Let's start. Has it been 28 days already? Is the first question from Mac Dow. Yes, it has. And next one is, let's go to the big board and see where the remastered TMNT number 8 Kickstarter stands. Good plan. You're going to have to do that. I don't have internet access.
Come on now. There it is. I'm using my old phone, and my old phone's going, what? Really? Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'm hitting the refresh button. It's not doing anything. Well, it's refreshing the page that I was on, not going to the home page. And the big board says, as of this recording,
which is Thursday, 5:30 Eastern Time.
The Kickstarter's at 206 backers, a pledge of $29,280 out of the $5,000 you guys were looking for. But that number is going to change tomorrow when I post this audio, and then again on Saturday when I post the video. So there will be 2 more updates to that amount. Hopefully it'll be a higher number.
Yes. Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed. I've asked Dagan to compare the Spawn 10 Kickstarter and the Turtles 8 Kickstarter head to head, and it's Spawn is definitely the hare, and Turtles 8, not coincidentally, is the tortoise. So we're at the 24-hour mark. Spawn 10 was at 32,000. So we're still lagging behind that. We're going to see if they just keep going in lockstep, or if there's a sudden T8 surge.
Well, and to be fair, the only promotion I've done so far for T8 was the countdown video that I scheduled to go up at 10 o'clock my time instead of 10 o'clock Dagan's time, so it actually went up an hour after the Kickstarter started, and that's it. That's all I've done. I haven't mentioned it since. I haven't started beating the drum. I haven't put a bunch of links up on Twitter or Facebook or anything. So I have a feeling that it's going to be one of these tomorrow when I start, beating the drum and marching to the band, that all of a sudden it's going to be, oh wait, that thing started already?
Well, that's why they call them races. That's why the tortoise and the hare is the classic race of Babledom. Is you don't know what's going to happen, and you'll have plenty of time to Monday morning quarterback it. Okay, let's get on to I remember Jeff, and you're remembering Jeff this time.
So I actually looked back, because in my notebook at work, one time I was like, it was Policehold was coming up, I'm like, it's my turn for Jeff. I gotta write down things I remember about Jeff, because otherwise I'm gonna forget. And the second thing was Two Women Grinding, which we did. And the third thing is an easy one, but that involves me going in my records and finding stuff. So I'm going back to the first one, which is the Roast Book. Which, for all the people at home who haven't been around since, alright, everybody brace yourself, especially you, Dave. March 9th, 2007, I sent a message to the Cerebus Yahoo group, which was all Cerebus fandom online was essentially the Yahoo group, which, if you were there, you know what I'm talking about. And if you weren't there, oh, did you miss a great party? We had the best time ever, which is why it died and went away.
Well, don't sugarcoat it, Mac. Give it to us straight. Sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
I mean, what there was in the past in the Yahoo group, there was times where people would look at the engagements, and like around the time that issue 300 came out, it was like, 2,000 unique posts a month, and by the time everybody had pretty much stopped, it was Lenny posting responses to messages from 3 years previously that he was just getting around to reading. There was a drop-off. This is what I'm saying. There was a drop-off. So anyway, the message I posted was, hey, so because of that doo-doo head Ray, 2023 Matt has no idea what that means. I'm putting together a 30th anniversary tribute project, think the Alan Moore 50th birthday book, and I know some famous The Comics creators are on this list, so I hereby officially invite anybody here with mad fat comic skills to contribute something officially. Either comics or articles about your love for Cerebus, Dave, or Gare. All entries are due by the end of the first week of August. Any questions, reply here or email me off list at my email address. Please mention the project in the subject line. And any non-comics pro-type peoples who know a pro-type person can feel free to pass the message along. The only rule, don't tell Dave. In parentheses, we're being sneaky. And then I signed off. When I first proposed this, before I went public with it, I sent an email to Jeff Tundis, Margaret Liss, and then Jeff Seiler. Tundis because he was essentially a muck before a muck at that point. He was the go-to internet service guy. And he was one of the moderators of the Yahoo group. Margaret because she was Cerebus fangirl #1 and one of the moderators of the Yahoo group. And Jeff Seiler because he was going to help edit this because that's the kind of, that was the kind of, a book about Dave, I want to get involved. So that was the initial post I sent out, and there was a bunch of replies. I mean, I had to look back to find this, but there was a bunch of replies, and we started getting the ball rolling, and Jeff Seiler had the brilliant idea of let's contact any retailers that are out there and see if they want to contribute something, and managed to get 2 people to say yes. And then that, a lot of the enthusiasm, we were getting a lot of thanks for the offer, but no, thanks for the offer, but no. And at some point, the book changed, because it was obviously going to be a very thin volume, much closer to Cerebus Readers in Crisis #1 than, say, Melmoth. And that's when somebody on the email chain came up with the idea of, well, instead of doing it as a tribute to Cerebus, which is what the original idea was, why don't we do it as a celebrity roast of Dave Sim? And all of a sudden, everybody's going, oh yeah, I can do a page or 2, or I can do this, or I got ideas. And we're getting a lot more yeses than we were getting. And again, this is all a secret. Dave knows nothing. And at some point, apparently, Jeff must have said something, because there's another message in these very, it's fun for me to go back and look, because it's like, oh yeah, I used to post like 30, 40 messages to the Yahoo group every day.
Every day.
Responding to this, it was very much the reason why Dave Sim doesn't have email. Because any thought that went through anybody's head, hey, hit send.
Right.
So in one incarnation of this book, Jeff finally contacted you and went, hey, we're going to do a 30th anniversary book. We've contacted a couple of retailers. It's starting to form up. And with the 30th anniversary idea in mind, and I forgot this. Like, when I found this today, I'm like, well, that's just insane. So the 30th anniversary book was going to be the home of the 1982 tour book. When Jeff contacted you, I forgot that this had ever happened, but yeah, you had agreed that, hey, I have a bunch of stuff that's never getting published anywhere else. I'll send it to you guys. And then it became the roast book, and you said, no, I don't want anything to do with this. I don't want you guys to ever do this. I mean, part of the idea was it was going to be a tribute to Cerebus, and it was going to be a fundraiser for the Comic Legal Defense Fund. And, there was a Blog and Mail post about it. If anyone wants to search the Blog and Mail up and find number 323, Dave has a response to the idea of a roast book, and the short version is, Dave doesn't like it.
Yes.
The longer
Dave
version.
wasn't. Wait a minute. Dave wasn't going to stop it because Dave doesn't stop things because that's censorship. But the last thing that I needed in 2007 was, hey, let's all pile on Dave, but make it into a benefit for the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund.
Well, and that's it was very much one of these Matt's, hey kids, let's get together and put on a show, turned into, hey kids, let's put on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Right.
The okay, yeah, you guys want to do a book, sure, turned into, okay, you guys can do a book, but if that happens, I'm not doing Secret Project number 1, which turned into Judenhass, or Secret Project number 2, which turned into glamourpuss. It was very much, the public statement was, if you guys are doing this, I'm not doing anything until this is all blown over. And that's, when that hit the Yahoo group, I was like, okay, Jeff, we're done. It's not happening. And like everybody, there was a lot of back and forth of, well, Dave's blackmailing. I was like, no, Dave's saying you can do it, but if you do this, my counter move is this. It's that simple. So my memory of Jeff is, hey, I remember that time Jeff almost killed glamourpuss.
Well, that's a way of looking at it. It's we were definitely not all on the same page at that point. Can you understand now, particularly knowing how things were in 2007, why it was that I wasn't thrilled about this?
I understood the second I read the blog and mail. I went, oh, okay, yeah. It was one of those. I kept pushing for, okay, it's a tribute thing, and then it was, well, how about we do it as a roast? I'm like, you can do a roasty, because the Alan Moore book has some of the stuff's kind of roasty, some of the stuff's kind of praisey. It's kind of a mixed bag. So okay, we'll widen our parameters and allow both, and then it shifted more towards roast, and I'm going, guys, it wasn't a good idea before we told you. And once we told you, it was, hey guys, remember when I said it wasn't a good idea? Guess what? We all kind of saw the writing on the wall before you found out. And once you found out, it was like, and again, for anybody that looks back, because I have all this stuff archived, and eventually I can do something with it. It wasn't that you said no, it was, I prefer you didn't, but.
Right. It was one of those things where, do you not understand the difference between Dave Sim and Alan Moore, which from the Cerebus side of the fence, the ever diminishing audience for Cerebus, it's like, no, we're Dave Sim fans and Alan Moore fans. Anything that Alan Moore gets or that is done in connection with Alan Moore, this would be a good idea for Dave Sim. We'll do our version of it, and it's okay. You're really not grasping reality accurately, which is probably the nicest way to phrase that. Of the many ways to phrase that. The less nice way is, are you people crazy? You people are crazy, but you don't know that you're crazy.
The slightly nicer way is, it speaks of self-absorption that borders on the pathological.
Right. I will take kudos as the author of that one. Okay, definitely a blast from the past. Sort of links to I had a much longer digression to one of the questions that brought me to Peter Manso's mailer, his Life and Times book, and every time that I go back to that book, it's like I got to drag myself back up because it's this amazing traffic accident of everybody remembering Norman Mailer. And Peter Manso interviewed all of accident point in Mailer's life. And I have thought, reading that, you could probably do that with Dave Sim. It's here is Dave Sim's life minute by minute between 1977 and 2004, and here's what each individual's recollection of it is. And boy, you talk about a traffic accident on a near cosmological scale. That would be more of the thing because of the public perception. It's like Alan Moore is considered absolutely faultless, absolutely without blemish, and particularly in 2007, or particularly whatever year it was in, I guess 2001, when they did the 50th birthday thing for him. But it's Dave Sim has never been in that category, and Dave Sim isn't in that category, and Dave Sim is pretty sure he never will be in that category. But unfortunately, he has an audience that really doesn't grasp that. So it's very difficult to even begin to discuss sensibly.
Right. I mean, we're a
it's
dedicated
like
bunch.
Either you're all crazy or I am, and it's like, well, I'm pretty satisfied that I'm not the crazy one here, but that's a matter of opinion as well.
Well, I mean,
that is the perception of Dave Sim. Dave Sim was this brilliant creator, but then he started believing in God and went completely insane. And how sad. Let's all move along so that we're not standing here embarrassing it. And that's the 98% of the comic book field consensus. Certainly in 2007, we might be down to 95% consensus now. I'm being charitable. It's like I don't know, because I don't have my finger on the Facebook, internet, beta, Instagram pulse of things.
Right.
Okay, so it's a good recollection of Jeff, because it was a situation where, as you're indicating, he was a linchpin presence, and was probably the only person who couldn't keep it a secret and was going to tell me whether he intended to or not.
Well, and the particular blog and mail post, number 323, if anybody wants to look it up, is that's the post where the accusations flew a little bit about you. Jeff had joined the other side, basically, and that was the incident where, as Jeff has said, there's two incidents in my life where Dave and I didn't communicate for 6 months. This is one of them, and this is the incident that led to Jeff, as he said to his girlfriend at the time, I'm angry when you get a 25-page handwritten letter.
Right.
We've mentioned I thought it was the two women grinding that led to that, but no, it was actually this, where in defending himself in the project and everything, Jeff had written the 25-page handwritten letter that you returned with a cover letter saying, "I'm not going to read all this, Jeff. We'll let bygones be bygones." And if you want to get succinct about what your point is, I will read that, but I'm not going to read again a 25-page handwritten letter. Right.
Well, particularly because I knew what it was that he was going to be talking about, and it's like as sensible, civilized human beings, you have to get to a point in those situations where you just agree to disagree. It's not, you don't understand my position clearly enough, so I will write you a 25-page that's not going to happen. Let's just leave this alone.
Right.
Or if you can distill it down to a quick 2 pages or something like that. Here's your 2 pages. I'll answer it with my 2 pages, and then we're at the agree to disagree. But even at that time, our society had completely lost the notion that there is such a thing as agreeing to disagree just to be a civil human being. No, we're the wave of the future. We are the children of the civil rights movement. We are determining the right way to think, and lead, follow, or get out of the way. It's like, well, lead, follow, or get out of the way, I don't think is the right way to think, but we'll just have to agree to disagree about that.
I believe at the time when Jeff said I wrote a 25-page letter to Dave and sent it to him, I believe some of the comments in response to that were, at what point in 25 handwritten pages did you think, maybe this is a little crazy?
Well, yes, and, particularly in the sense that, however much time Jeff had to put into 25 handwritten pages, and it would have been, at that time that was one of his individual OCD things of he will just automatically start doing that and never really reassess, is this a good idea, or is this something that you should be doing to any other human being, with the compelled inference that, okay, now it's your turn to write your 25 pages, and then, if must needs comes to must needs, then I will write a 60-page handwritten letter, which will refute all of your points. It's like, no, that sounds intelligent, but that's really quite infantile, and it's not something that you want to do in a civilizational context. The internet, I think, by that point had driven a lot of people insane, who were encountering people online who were no longer saying, in my opinion, and no longer saying, as I see it, and trying to limit themselves to that. Again, it's like we're children of the civil rights movement. We are determining the right way to think, and I'm here to tell you what that is. Which, first of all, why would you be spending your own time, on a CB radio listening to this? And it's like, well, because it's the internet, and because obviously this is, the apex of communication. This is what our society is all about. And it's like, well, okay, I disagree with you back in the 1990s on this one. And I think the chickens are coming home to roost. But again, that's just my opinion. If you really think that, disappearing inside of your television and subjecting yourself to this, and subjecting others to yourself is a good use of, your self-admittedly limited human lifespan, don't let me get in the way, but don't try and persuade me that you're right on it. We'll just have to agree to disagree.
Yeah. I mean, that was last weekend. My mother-in-law was over, and she started watching The Alamo because it was on TV, and it's John Wayne, being a cowboy, and I'm doing something else, but I'm half paying attention. And after about 20 minutes, I'm like, it's John Wayne. It's historical fact. I'm sure it's John Wayne's take on history. And I looked up the Battle of the Alamo on the internet. I'm reading about it and I'm going, yeah, this doesn't sound like the John Wayne movie at all. And then I got, because it's Wikipedia, I get to the bottom of it and they're talking about in popular culture, like it was, the Battle of the Alamo was featured in the Walt Disney Davy Crockett TV series in the last season, and it was also, John Wayne directed and starred in an adaptation, and it's got a note that it's widely perceived to be historically inaccurate. I'm like, okay, that's what I was pretty much expecting to find, but
yes.
I mean, that's it. 20 years ago, it'd be, hey, you're watching the Alamo. Hey, does this seem like it was accurate? Who cares? And then you can finish watching the Alamo. Now it's, are we sure this is right? And
right. And the people who are real devotees of the Alamo, which looms large in the consciousness of pretty much every Texan that I've ever met, they're all in fundamental disagreement. But they came to the we'll just have to agree to disagree point probably in the late 1800s.
Right.
Okay, we're gonna try and squeeze. You got any other new business that Dave needs in caps on here before we go to the questions from the audience at home? And I actually do have one. I have a indie cartoonist who sent me his first graphic novel. And his first graphic novel is called Octave the Artist. The creator is Adam J. Elkhadem. And I got Rolly to scan the cover for you, so he sent that along. The graphic novel is actually published by Seiler magazine, which is an online magazine, www.seilermag.org, and it's an interesting book. And he sent me a 3-page handwritten letter, which has a lot of questions in it. So Adam is going to be with us. He's actually, speaking of Texas, he's in Houston. Is going to be with us for the next several. Please hold for Dave Sim, and because I'm not going to answer all of his questions in a letter, and he sent me his cell phone number and his number at work. He works at a courthouse, and they're good questions, and I do want to address them because I think they're of general interest to indie creators. But one at a time will be fine in terms of answering the questions, as opposed to answering all, being conservative here, let's say 20 to 25 questions that he's got. He's got it like A, B, and C, but he's got like 8 questions in each category. Anyway, the first one is, what non-sim comics shall I read to learn the spatial awareness demonstrated in your comics? And it's a good question because he's talking about something very specific in my work, spatial awareness in terms of a visual. How do you break up the space in the panel, and how do you use the interrelationship? How do you just know how to do the interrelationship of the shapes and sizes and densities? And he's as he says, he's asking about non-sim comics that he should look at for that. That would be you're trying to translate things too early in the process would be my answer to that. Which brings us to those were all done very, very quickly, and all of them were done in terms of spatial awareness. That's the first thing. Okay, I finished that turtle sleeps card. Now I'm on to the next turtle sleeps card, and I have to instantly move into spatial awareness. I've got the blue pencil. I got the card. It has to have Cerebus or a turtle, and it has to have T8. So each of those things has to go into the composition. Once I have it in pencil, then everything after that is either Japanese brush pen or Hunt 102 pen nib. In order, and with the idea of hurry up offense, I got to get this done as quickly as possible because I'm doing 75 of them, and I don't want to just do this for a living for the next 3 or 4 weeks. So my suggestion in terms of understanding Dave Sim's spatial awareness would be to take Matt Dow's video and use the play pause function to go through one card at a time and for yourself decide, okay, this is a good one, this is a not so good one. This one sucks. This one's really good. I like parts of this one, but this is things that I think are wrong with this one that I would have done differently. And I think, over the course of the 75 of them, you will understand by spatial awareness thinking when it's pretty much pure spatial awareness. That's all that I was doing was trying to be as interestingly spatially aware as possible so I could do a good card. And this is the result that I came up with. You're looking at very basic elements. You're looking at a fixed size card. You're looking at the blue pencil thinking composition that was really, really quick because it's time to get inking on this. Then the Japanese brush pen, Wally Woods, I like to put in my solid blacks and then see how much drawing I have left to do. And then, okay, now here's the minimal number of Hunt 102 fine point pen that I need to do to finish that off. What are the most successful and why are they the most successful? And apply that to your own thinking. Adam this was a weekly comic strip that he was working on for Seiler magazine. Now he's doing an actual graphic novel. So he's slowing down, and I think he's going to slow down a lot more because he's not doing a weekly comic strip that's going to get collected into a graphic novel. So this is a way to get that hurry-up offense thing in your own work. Look at somebody's own hurry-up offense thing. Here's how he solved the problem of here's the limited options: Japanese brush pen, Hunt 102, blue pencil, rinse, repeat. How do I apply that to my own work? And do a panel or do a sequence of panels and do them in hurry-up offense mode. Work them out on another sheet of paper in blue pencil and then really quick, spontaneous Japanese brush pen inking and see what it is that you do. You can learn the concept and you have the template in terms of the 75 cards in looking at the video. But yours is going to be different. You will evolve in a different direction because you're a different person than I am. But this is a good way to get right back to the very beginning and start finding out who who it is that you are and how it is that you do your own spatial awareness thinking. Okay, I have to go for my prayer time now, and when I come back, I want to find out what music it is that you did on your video.
Okay.
That's the cliffhanger. We'll be back in a few minutes, Matt.
Okay, that works. Talk to you in a bit, Dave. Bye.